Guys, Chronicle is one of the best superhero movies, if not one of the best movies I have ever watched. I always procrastinated on watching this movie back then. Its runtime is pretty short for a superhero movie. It's got a young Michael B. Jordan, who I've always wondered how his acting was when he was younger. And it's got the guy that's Green Goblin from The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Yup, Dane DeHaan.
You're a fraud, Spider-Man!
How is this guy already pushing 40? Bruh. But time goes by and I just forget about this movie until this video wouldn't stop popping up on my recommended. I took it as a sign that it was time for me to watch the movie. Alright, I was like, man, I'm on my unemployed arc. I have no excuse not to watch this movie. So obviously, I skipped out on watching the video to make sure I didn't get anything spoiled and decided, you know what? Let me finally watch this movie I've been holding off on watching for so long. And oh my goodness. Now, before I explain why this movie is goated, okay, I'm gonna mention a few slight issues I had with this movie that caught me off guard. Yeah, so as you can see, sometimes the performances in this movie can look very bad. This movie gets away with a lot of goofy stuff. For example, when they find out they can fly now, you can clearly see like there's some string holding them. Look at the way their body moves. Their posture does a terrible job at convincing me they can fly, okay? I couldn't help but laugh at how ridiculous this is. The visual effects in this movie are also very noticeably bad. I get it, the budget was extremely low for this movie, so you know what? I don't hold too much against it. I understand that the VFX team probably weren't given much to work with. Also, this might be a hot take, but the whole found footage film non-stop recording thing, yeah, that could have been executed way better, but I'll get into that later because now it is time for me to explain why this movie is so good. Look, despite these flaws, I'm not gonna even be afraid to give this movie a 10 out of 10. This movie is balls to the wall fun. Every moment and every scene, whether it's intense or not, this movie knows how to keep you hooked. We get introduced to our main character, Andrew, alright? He has a dying mother and an abusive drunken father. Worst of two worlds right there. He also has a cousin named Matt. The thing about Andrew in this movie is that he records every single moment in this movie. It doesn't matter if he's doing nothing, talking to himself, even if he's getting beat up, he's keeping that thing rolling, alright? Anyways, after a party, him and his cousin Matt become friends with this popular kid named Steven. And then all three of them get powers after exploring a mysterious cave. From this point on, this movie immediately hooks you and pulls you into its world. They are discovering their powers, using it to goof off as typical high schoolers, bonding with each other, realizing they have something in common now. I don't know what it is, but it is genuinely the funniest thing to watch this experience from all their point of views unfold. Like, you know that one meme? Yeah, that's how this movie has you watching this friendship grow together. Keep in mind, Steven is this popular kid, okay, and Andrew is some shy, quiet kid. He gets bullied sometimes and he has no friends. This dynamic works so well. We know Andrew and Matt are cousins, alright? Basically obligated, not in a bad way, but they're bound to have a relationship, alright, because they're family. But watching this friendship between Steven and Andrew unfold makes the later conflict of this movie so impactful, realizing how far they've come. This sort of weird kid meets the surprisingly super chill, popular kid trope is done beyond the basic measure, okay? And it adds so much emotional depth to the story. Anyways, they continue to goof off. If I was in this situation with me and my friends and we were doing these things, I know it would be frying us, right? The best part about this is that they all give a convincing performance in display of their emotions. This is like the most realistic, joyous laughter a teen has after doing some out-of-pocket stuff. So after all that, they are heading back until a car won't stop beeping at them. Andrew, he messes around, he uses his powers to throw it off the rail. Yeah, the unpredictable, insane, and unhinged part of this movie immediately has you shook because Andrew could have killed this guy. Thankfully, Matt and Steven end up saving the guy. Also, I just love how Andrew still keeps the camera rolling despite this man almost dying. Very, very accurate representation of today. But even then, Andrew's view on morality in this situation is very skewed. He even tries to convince his friends that it wasn't that serious. He even told them,
hey bro, you know, you don't gotta call the cops, you know what I'm saying?
The rough things that go on between him and his father, his loneliness, his confusion, it's clearly throwing his thoughts in a spiral because Andrew is in this awkward and lonely state of mind that's clearly driven him to being uneasy. Stay in this state of mind long enough and watch how far it takes you. The best part about this scene is the subtle foreshadowing, alright, to the rest of this movie. Going from the funny, immature friendship scenes, we now get pulled into these cool bonding scenes. So much brotherhood has already formed that Andrew, despite almost killing a man, steps in to save his friends after they almost get hit by a plane. Yeah, this is crazy. Now we get Andrew and Steven bonding while Matt is gone. And like I mentioned earlier, it's just so fun to see this friendship between Steven and Andrew unfold. Despite being two completely different people, realizing through one chaotic moment in their lives, it turned them into pretty good friends. Even then, they realize they kind of have sort of relatable family issues at home. Steve is the chillest guy and most down-to-earth guy. He even convinces Andrew to go to the talent show, and it goes well. People from school love him. He's speaking to girls now, which he never did, by the way. He also embarrasses himself, unfortunately. Alright, he threw up on the girl. You see, this little moment begins to worsen, okay? Andrew is already unhinged. He's an unpredictable mind. We don't know where this brother Andrew could go. Things get even worse, okay? Now his dad's going ham on him, and he's saying, hey man, you didn't help your mom out enough. The hypocrisy is crazy though, because you know, he's literally dilly-dallying, knowing full well his son is calling for help. But they fight, alright? Except Andrew ends up taking the advantage here by slightly using his powers. The best part is the camera keeps rolling, guys. Alright, it keeps rolling, by the way. Oh yeah, he can control it through telekinesis now too, by the way. So that's yeah, that's pretty cool, I guess. But that's where I bring up the found footage film camera issue. Now, I waited to bring this up because I wouldn't call this much of a flaw. Because honestly, there were some scenes that I felt would genuinely be way better if it was a normal camera angle. Then again, I don't think I would be as deeply immersed into this movie if it wasn't for the constant camera point of view theme. But anyways, alright, things get clearly worse here. Alright, you thought I was gonna give it? No, it doesn't get better. It gets worse, and now we get this parallel here. Alright, Matt's nose bleeds. Now peep this, every time something is wrong with Andrew, his friends get alerted. So, you know, Andrew is losing his mind. He's up in the clouds at night, upset, and Steven, being a good friend, through these superpowers is alerted and checks up on him, alright? Andrew, already driven by insanity, clearly isn't having it. He's getting angry with Steven, who's trying to help. Next thing you know, he powers up lightning and kills Steven. It wasn't until this moment that I realized how engulfed I was into this film. It was like I had awareness all of a sudden. I gained consciousness back whenever this happened. Never in my life have I been so devastated by the death of a character, and we were literally just introduced to him like 40 minutes ago. Even when the funeral happened, I just couldn't believe it. I was in denial. I was thinking, you know, maybe it's Andrew's mom. She's like on her last heart. No, Steven is genuinely dead. This movie brings you into a point of view so strong that the death of this character genuinely leaves you so distraught, because this movie makes you feel like you knew him. It's not like a character death where it's a beloved character that you always liked, that was enjoyable. No, this is a character death where you feel like you knew the character. Usually when characters die, I'm just like, man, alright, to me it's not that deep all the time, but this is the one character I did not want to see die, regardless of the needed impact for this movie. Yeah, doing that is very impressive writing. Alright, Matt is catching on and he's suspicious. Andrew lost all his swag from the talent show because he threw up on a girl, and it puts him back at square one with his solitude state of mind. We get this scene of him literally going insane. He talks about how he's an apex predator, okay? He says how lions kill gazelles and they don't feel bad, or how humans kill flies and they don't feel bad. It's clear these powers have been given to the wrong person with the wrong mind, okay? Not because he's just like this, but because of the hardship and background he comes from. The more he goes insane, the harder the hardship. His mom is on the verge of dying and needs medicine, but it's so expensive that he can't afford it. So what does he do? He starts being a danger and a threat to everyone. Another foreshadowing of what he can do to just random people. It goes so far to where he robs a gas station. We also get some cool detail here, by the way, of this camera in telekinesis mode. But he uses telekinesis after robbing this gas station, and with that, a gun just goes flying. Alright, and it accidentally causes an explosion, and it even puts Andrew in the hospital. His dad visits, and it's like, cool. Alright, his dad cares. His dad's emotional. Whoa. Character development? Maybe. No. Mind you, we are now just finding out his mom died, and this is why the dad just goes ballistic and he starts blaming him for everything he's done. And this movie gives you a reason to understand the pain and trauma Andrew has and side with him even more, even though things are getting worse. His dad goes insane until Andrew grabs his arm. He's done. He's sick of it. He's not having it. And this causes an explosion in the hospital. This isn't just because he's tired of his dad being all angry and blaming him, but this is where he finds out his mom died, and he couldn't do nothing about it. His dad's anger towards him makes the situation a million times worse and provokes this sad news for Andrew to a whole nother level. And it leads him to not even get the chance to grieve, but to go Super Saiyan. Matt once again bleeds and realizes Andrew is in trouble. He takes the car with his girlfriend, and Andrew shows no mercy. This man lifted up the car. Like I said, look, once again, this movie pulls you into this nerve-wracking moment here. My heart was racing, guys. I can't lie. I totally felt like I was in the car, seeing the Space Needle. Matt tries to calm Andrew down. All right. Once again, these performances, top notch, very good. Dane DeHaan's portrayal of someone losing their mind is honestly just so convincing. And Alex Russell portraying a stressed out family member trying to help is just as convincing. After more chaos, Andrew continues to display his power, even stopping a multitude of bullets. It gets so bad, and it gets even worse, to where Matt has to bubble up this internal conflict on what to do. Just this scene of no words speaks to you. He looks at the statue with a spear, he looks at it in despair, in concern, in hopelessness, and decides this is the only option that leaves him to kill his own cousin, Andrew. Hey, at least, I mean, the no killing rule isn't here. We put a comic book superhero here, and they're like, nah, we can't kill him. So Andrew dies. The cops swarm, and Matt immediately flies away. And just like that, Matt is gone. Then this movie fast forwards us to where Matt currently is. This movie started out with Matt questioning Andrew for the recording and calling him weird for it. This movie also showed Matt finding it funny that Andrew wanted to visit Tibet, to him now being in Tibet and recording with the camera, doing all these things himself in honor of Andrew, knowing Andrew was driven by intense trauma. And the best part is, his explanation and feelings for having to kill him leaves us with so much closure, because he knows deep down inside he had no choice. While the rest of the world may look at Andrew as crazy, he can't see to find himself the cousin that he once knew and was close with to be a bad person. I mean, he was a bad person, but we're gonna let it slide.